So, Sam, what kind of spell are we doing today?
So this is a fetch spell.
Fetch.
And it's
Got
not
it.
the same thing as your fetch. So I want to have a really strong line between that because those are very different things. And if people
Okay.
start summoning their fetches to try and do love spells. Oh,
Yes,
so
explain. And maybe also, as we're doing this working, kind of talk about just love spells in general because they quite often backfire on people.
love spells are weird. They're something that get a lot of hate. And I think, if I'm going to be really honest with it, half of it is racist and unnecessary. And a lot of people don't realize the roots of that. I completely understand that one of the biggest rules I have with love spells, I have two. One of them is never start a marriage with a kidnapping. And I just will not be doing that. There are other people that don't feel weird about that, and that's perfectly fine. Go there. And then the other thing is that I have a really hard line. I'm never going to help somebody beg. If you want me to, get someone who it's all there, everything's there, they're just dumb and don't know how to communicate, or there's like stupid blockages in the way, but the feelings are there. It's just we're struggling to get to the end road. Love to do that. I love to attract new love. I love love spells. I work with Aphrodite. I love to bring people closer to their soulmates, to their partners, to people that are going to love them the best, which is why that's my big rule is that I'm not going to help you beg because anyone that's going to make you beg is never going to love you to the extent that you deserve. So those are my rules. Honestly, operating within those rules, you're usually pretty safe. If you want to add more, you can. But like I said, love spells get a lot of flack and a lot of judgment. And I really think that if you're not properly educated on something, like properly in all of the different forms love spells come in, all the different ways that that looks, you're probably talking out of your ass. Like if you're going to start, coming down people for it. So I think it's important to use discretion, be smart, understand that some love spells don't backfire in the way that you think. I'll throw myself under the bus. I did a love spell when I was 12. Yeah, I found it on Tumblr, which was a genius idea. And I did it in my friend's super haunted basement that we did not cleanse or do anything with. Again, genius idea. And I do the spell because I had had a crush on this boy since kindergarten. So I was like, okay, it's real. This is real love. I'm 12 and I know what that looks like. So I was like really set up on it. About a week after doing the spell, his family announced that they were moving to Vancouver. And I wanted to tell him how I felt. So right before he got on the bus, I told him, and then before he could answer me, I turned around and ran away. And I ran on my bus and hid, and I waited for him to text me, and he never did. And I was like, okay, he's moving. Things are difficult. It's fine. No, his family moved to Vancouver. Still didn't text me. And I was like, yeah, he's moving. He's really busy. It happens. So I waited like a week or two, and then I texted him, and I was like, how's Vancouver? How are you settling? And he sent me a who's this text.
Oh, later.
And to make it even worse, I'm not even over exaggerating. There were 26 kids in my middle school graduating class. And we had all been in the same class from kindergarten to 8th grade. So I know you have my number. So that is, but honestly, if I'm being perfectly honest, that's called getting off easy with a love spell backfire on you. That is called getting off scot easy. All I did was walk away feeling stupid and with a little bit of a heartbreak.
Right.
I got lucky. I can't tell you how many times I have people come into my office utterly pulling their hair out because they have this person that they can't stay away from. And they're like, he sucks. I know he sucks. He's the worst. Why do I keep doing this? I don't want to do this anymore. And like, look, right off the bat, first couple of questions, basic psychology. Like, what's your attachment style? What is your childhood? Is any of that affecting you? The times when it's not, or the times when those people have done the work and healed that wound and they're like, I don't know why this is still happening, 9 times out of 10, I will go 1 or 2 lifetimes back, and one of them was dumb as hell and thought, let's bind our souls together. That's so romantic.
It can backfire hard. And I've also heard stories of people doing love workings or love spells and the person becoming obsessed. Completely obsessed. It becomes a scary situation.
Obsession and domination magic. That is a part of love spells. But like, if you're going to do that, the people that know how to do that without creating a stalker or like something really dangerous really know how to do that. And if you cause it on accident, it's going to spiral out of control. Again, like sometimes the universe gives you exactly what you asked for, and that is the punishment. You're going to get someone who's going to be super obsessed with you, and maybe you've been, making this person so much bigger in your head, because unrequited love does that, right? All of a sudden, they're the hottest, most amazing, most incredible person we've ever seen. And then the moment they're attainable, maybe you don't like what you see. Maybe you get closer and you're like, oh, this isn't what I thought what this was. I don't like this actually. And you want to pull out. And that would be perfectly fine if you hadn't done the love spell and you were just a normal couple that had known each other for a couple of weeks. But you've done a spell and he's a little too into you and he might not handle the separation really well. Way worse than he should have. Or again, sometimes the universe binds the two of you together and it's like, okay, you guys want to be together forever? We're going to do that until you're sick of each other. It's really important to keep in mind that even look at how relationships work in our life nowadays. You can be with someone and then 10 years later, you guys have just grown into two people that just aren't as compatible as the people that, you were 10 years ago. Whereas now, we're looking at lifetimes. Maybe the two of you were perfect together 2 lifetimes ago, but the people you've become in this lifetime aren't supposed to be with each other. There's other things you're supposed to be doing, and you're blocking yourself off from that pathway because you want to stay somewhere that was meant for you 2 cycles ago. So I always recommend to just, be careful. Use your head. You should divine before doing really any type of spell. You should pull cards and see if it's a good idea. You should check in with your spirit team, whatever form of divination you have. Love spells especially. They're one of the top ones that I think you should just check before you do it. That's all. But the way that this works, like I said, we're using a fetch. And not the fetch that some people will think of. Your fetch, because there's a fetch and then there's your fetch. What a fetch is a helpful spirit. I want you to think quite literally what it sounds like. They'll fetch things for you. They'll do things for you. They'll do workings. They'll do jobs. They'll do stuff like that. Your fetch is the personification of your shadow. So wouldn't recommend using your fetch in a spell unless you really wanted to introduce somebody to all your crazy right off the bat. Like, here's all my baggage. Here's all my bullshit. Here is the most feral version of me. Now, if you want to use your fetch in spell work, use it in protection workings. Go literally feral on people. It is an incredible use. But in love spells, we're not going to use our fetch. We're going to use a fetch. So one of the first steps when it comes to fetching a spirit is you want to give them something to take up residence in. Now, if you want that spirit to stay with you permanently, use something that's permanent. Get yourself in this situation, obviously we're using a cat. Get yourself a cat figurine. Get yourself a cat stand. Honestly, if you look up spells on house guardians, which we have one on our website, but there's so many more, it's not just us, you'll kind of start to get the concept of having a spirit inhabit a physical object. Like I said, having them inhabit something temporary means this spirit will be with us for as long as this candle is here. And for as long as it's burning, that spirit is agreeing to come into the situation and lend their help however they can. Now, quite literally sending them on a bit of a fetch quest in this situation. They are running off to go fetch me a little bit of love, a little bit of something, something. Now, I am going to reiterate once more. I do this with every spell, but especially with love spells. Please be specific. Because if you just ask for a man, don't be upset when the universe sends you a married one. Or one that just kind of sucks. Like, be specific. What kind of man? What are you looking for? This is your time to be choosy and picky and like really high standards. This is your time. So the first thing we need to do is get a spirit in here, because right now it's just a candle. It's not going to do nothing until we have somebody occupying the space. Now, I've gone ahead and lit it first for 2 different reasons. One, I want the candle to build energy, because every time the candle's lit, that's going to serve as energy for the spirit. And 2, we need a little bit of a lighthouse. Our spirit needs to be able to find where they're going. Now, this incantation is something that can be said out loud, under your breath, in your head. It's entirely up to you how you want to go about it. What I like to do before any incantation that is involving summoning the dead, this is a Greek pagan thing, so you don't have to do it if you don't want to. I like to get the whole underworld, to get their attention. It was very common to punch or stamp on the ground 3 times. It was often done with offerings or oaths or anything to get their attention, really. So I'm just going to wake everybody up, quite literally. And I am going to start our incantation. So I call out through the veil and into the land of spirits. I reach my voice, my energy into sacred realms inhabited by the helpful and the willing dead. From these distant shores, I summon a fetch with a form to match the effigy in front of me. Spirits of felines, noble, liminal, and knowledgeable, I call for you. Helpful familiars, long gone, who wish to continue their work, I reach out to you and ask for you to follow my voice here to this candle where you may find a temporary home with me. I beckon you with gifts from the life you knew. I leave you offerings of catnip, and I humbly ask for your help in my ritual. I ask for your help, spirit of felines, as you are such capable hunters, you whose eyes shine in the dark, who see the unseen, who once in life would bring gifts to the humans who cared for you. I ask you to extend this courtesy once more to me now, as I have cared for you with gifts. I ask that you care for me by offering your keen senses, capable nature, and spiritual form to find, now this is where you're going to put your petition, so we're going to hard left that, to find love, money, any other type of good. We do have a fetch spell for money, so I wouldn't recommend getting the love fetch spell and changing your mind. That comes with a green effigy and different herbs. So in this case, this would be a specific partner. For me, I am already quite happy. So I ask now that you care for me by using your keen senses, capable nature, and spiritual form to find whatever joy still awaits for me, and fetch it back here so that these gifts may find their way to me. As I light your candle, I begin my spell. May its flame give you the energy needed to retrieve my wish. May its light guide you to me, and may it manifest it back to me. When this candle has finished burning, it will no longer be a suitable home for you, and I respectfully and gratefully release you back to the home from whence you came. Standard. This one, a lot of with our spells, I say that you can absolutely edit and do what you like. With this one, I kind of made sure that I crossed all our T's and dotted all of our I's. I give just a quick little offering to our little buddy who's here, because as much as everything I just said was quite a bit of a mouthful, we are not done yet. That's just the first step of the spell, that is summoning our spirit here, forward and with us. Now that your fetch is here, which is what we were just talking about, that the text started freaking out right after we summoned the damn cat. So surprise, surprise, expect mischief. It's a cat. Don't flicker your candle at me right after I call you a shit. Don't do that. But feel free to sit in the energy of your new buddy, of your new friend who has come to visit. Does a name come to mind? Naming your fetch is really important. One, because it makes sure that you're working with the same spirit consistently. Sometimes other spirits will try to poke on in, and if you just kind of leave the door open, anybody and everybody will take the opportunity. So I would say name your fetch. Sit for a little bit and see whatever name comes to mind. I would advise against naming them after a deceased pet, as there is a chance it's not your pet that's coming to help you, and they might get a little bit offended calling them by the wrong name. If you do want to summon a passed on pet, now that is, you have permission to change everything about the whole first incantation. Approach it with calling in your, beloved buddy. But this is just an opening to any that feel like offering their assistance. So you're going to go ahead and name them. I couldn't get the name Max out of my head, which is, I always make fun of people who name their cats people names because I think it's hilarious. So that's what we're going with. So you're going to lean into the name that you feel like is kind of what's poking around. Even if it feels silly, it's cats. Sometimes their names are Princess Kitten Puddles. Sometimes that is what it is, So don't be afraid to really trust your gut and trust your intuition on whatever is the first name that kind of pokes on in. Now, like I said, take this time to, if you would like, you can do it while keeping the candle lit. I would recommend being careful because you don't want to get wax on you. You can go ahead and carve the animal's name into that candle as a way to really finalize it. Now, I'm not going to go too crazy. I am just going to pop Max right on his back. Now, you can use anything for this. You can use, toothpicks. You can use your nails if you really want to. Carve their name in the back. This is also going to help it easier for the spirit to make its way home, to know where they need to go. And now we're going to take our sigil that we pre-make for you guys. You can stick it to the candle if you like. What I like to do is stick it on the bottom. And that works as the root, as the grounder of our spell. Even if the energy goes down instead of up and out, it's going to go down into the sigil and then get redistributed. So I like to keep my sigils underneath the candles. Once you go ahead and do that, you're going to take our little rose quartz. I like to put it right in the front. This is going to work as our directive for our little friend. You know, as he kind of goes out, the first thing he runs into is the rose quartz, and that's like, oh, right, that's what I'm looking for. It is a good way to focus the energy and to keep everything kind of in line. That's also why I will every so often take the love oil and just dress our little buddy with it, or I'll dress it on my hands and give him a pet. Again, this will keep him on task. This will keep him on focus. Now, when it comes to the rest of your herbs, I like to take my catnip, because this is for our buddy, and I like to put it around him. Now, catnip is also super useful in love spells because it's catnip, like, right? There's a million songs about it. So you can absolutely use it as an attractor as well as an offering. Now, as an offering, I'm going to put it, like I said, all over the candle and all around our buddy. And then if I want to use it to call in the love, then I'm going to use it to start to build the road on either side of the incense and either side of the crystal. Now, everything that's in here are the rest of our herbs. This is your hibiscus, your jasmine, and your rose petals. All beautiful for love. And again, you're going to want to build your road. I like to go all the way around to keep our little buddy on focus because we're quite literally herding cats in this moment. So I like to make sure that our buddy stays on track. I like to keep it all the way around, feed a little into his head, and then make sure that there's no spaces or breaks in our setup. And this is going to go ahead and burn. And like I said, for as long as this candle is here, Max is with us. So make sure to go out of your way to pay attention, say thank you, leave him another incense cone from time to time if you feel like it. Go ahead and pop things around, put a glass of water down if you want to give him an offering. You know, cats, the more you bribe them, you're probably getting better results. But once you go ahead and that, now that it's lit, you're going to call them by name. So now we know his name is Max. So we're going to go, Max, with respect and gratitude, I ask you to venture forth, return to me that which I desire, go forth and fetch me my intention. May the fire fuel you, may its light guide you, and may the sigil act as your instruction. And you're just going to let him go on his way. You're going to leave the spell to burn. Everybody likes to do this differently. Some people like to let a fetch spell start and go in one way. Some people like to light the candle for a little bit of time every single day. Some people who are super specific like to only light the candle on Fridays because that's Lady Venus's day, and it's one of the best days to do love workings. Whichever way you feel called to is not only going to be the best for you, but it's between you and your friend. So don't overwork them. If they only want to go to work one day out of the week, they're a cat. You can't get mad about it. Like, let them go and do their thing. If they want to go to work every day, great. If they just want to marathon it and do it all in one day for you, great. Just know that as long as this is lit, please be intentional. Don't light it and walk it away. Just be intentional that you're welcoming a spirit into your space and that they're out there doing work for you when he probably could be chasing mice in a field in cat heaven. And instead he's here helping us get a partner. So be grateful. So go out of your way to really respect and honor the spirit that is coming and going out of their way to help make your life a little bit easier. But we do have the kit here on our website with everything you just saw me use. Feel free to keep dressing him in the love oil. Feel free to wear it yourself. It is a great way to keep pulling the energy. Once the spell's over, take the rose quartz with you everywhere you go. That's what I like to do. And everything that we saw today is going to come in here along with a sticker and everything else that you would need to go ahead and make this for you. Obviously, if you don't want to listen to me yap, we have everything right here. If you like listening to me yap, then you can absolutely follow along with us for all the other spells that we have on our Instagram, on our YouTube page, and we can just do the spell together.